In this video, I'm gonna share 10 books that will help you become a better leader. I love reading great books and of course sharing them with you. And because I read so many nonfiction books, I curated a list of 10 books that I think you'll really like if you're trying to become a more effective leader. These are books that I've read that have made an impact in my life, and also I gift them to friends, I gift them to clients to help them work through some of the challenges that they're going through with their teams and in their life. So I hope you like this list, and I would love to hear which of these you've read and which ones you think are the best for leadership. Number 1, The Culture Solution by Matthew Kelly. All right, here's the deal. It's one of the best leadership books that you can read because in the book, he shares the 6 immutable principles of creating a dynamic culture. These principles basically lay out the foundation of what we need to do as a leader to make sure that our team knows what's going on in our organization, what we need them to do, and how everyone can fulfill the mission of the organization. So in these 6 principles, he really lays out everything. I often tease him and say, this book is not just about company culture. It's everything. It's relationships, it's people, it's human beings, and the way that we interact with people. So these principles that he shares is critical for every single company, but also just for us to be better communicators and better people, better leaders. Number 2, Essentialism by Greg McKeown. There are a few books on my bookshelf that I read at least once a year, and this is one of those books because there's always so much going on in our lives, and it can be really easy to be distracted. There's all the shiny objects that are coming at our way. And this book helps you stay focused on what you need to focus on. What are the right things for you? What are the things that we can let go of all the distractions and gain more clarity around what's the most important things in our life, and putting those things front and center and letting go of everything else. And so that's what Essentialism does. It's really a brilliant book. I often gift it to clients because, again, with all of this, we are inundated with so much information and so many opportunities. So having a book like this helps us to reframe our brain and our minds when all of these things come at us so that we have this new way of looking at the opportunities that are coming to us and deciding which ones are really essential and which ones we really need to put off and maybe for another time. So I really love this book. It's an awesome one. Number 3, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. This book, I remember when I read it years ago, and it definitely was my favorite book that I read that year. And maybe it was just the timing that I was reading it when I just needed it, because you know when you find a book at the exact moment that you need it, that might be it, but it really is one of the best books on leadership. So these guys are former Navy SEALs, and they are no joke. They mean business. They believe you need to take ownership of your business, of your life, everything comes down to you and the way that you handle things. So I'll never forget when I read, there is no such thing as a bad team, only a bad leader. Crazy, because as a leader, we need to take extreme ownership of the decisions that we make, how we're communicating with our team. When things go wrong, we need to look at ourselves and what could we have done for our team to set us up for success so that those challenges don't happen. So this book is awesome. I really loved reading the Culture Solution with Extreme Ownership. It was just kind of, the ideas really played off each other really well. And I feel like if leaders grabbed onto both of those books, so many transformations would happen and we would see teams transform, because when the leader can take extreme ownership, they can teach their team to do the same, to take that ownership so everyone is working together, and it's a beautiful thing. So definitely pick up Extreme Ownership. You don't want to miss it. You will not be sorry. Number 4, Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. This is such a great book. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. Hey, I only curated a list of 10 books, so I have to love each of these because I could have had a way longer list. But I'm just getting started. So Chris Voss wrote this book. He's a former FBI hostage negotiator, really fascinated human. So I read the book, Never Split the Difference. I was so fascinated that I actually ended up watching his masterclass as well. So I feel like I'm getting really these ins and outs of negotiation. And what I loved so much about this book is he gave very practical tips and strategies that we can use to become better negotiators in business, in life, in communicating with your partner, and communicating with friends. So it's a really incredible book. I love that he shared really great stories from when he was a hostage negotiator. And then he has a consulting practice now. So it's really interesting to hear how he uses these practices in business as well. So definitely check out that book if you are interested in becoming a better negotiator, which we can all use those skills as leaders. Okay, the next two are autobiographies. I love reading autobiographies because you get to know the ins and outs of someone's life. Number 5 is Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger. This is an incredible book because he ran Disney. I mean, seriously, it's so cool. So to hear his journey as a leader, to hear the stories of what he had to go through to build up his teams, he had worked with so many people, and then also some of the negotiations that he had to go through when he was talking to Steve Jobs to acquire Pixar and then George Lucas. Really interesting story. I really enjoyed hearing how he approached his team, how he approached decision making. We can glean a lot of insight from great leaders like him. And so I really enjoyed the book and I definitely recommend it. Number 6, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. Okay, I should actually read this one again because it's been a few years, but it made such an impression on me because he was the founder of Nike. And I just love hearing about how he came up with the idea, how he brings us into his life and his world. And he talks about when he met his wife and just all of the challenges that he went through and all of the things that he saw and thought and felt. So I just love autobiographies, especially when we get to see that idea creation and then going through like how it all happened and some of the challenges along the way. So I definitely recommend this book. You can all learn from Phil Knight. What an incredible leader, what he was able to build, and a really great read and a great book. Number 7, Radical Candor by Kim Scott. This book is awesome because she has a very interesting background as well. She's worked for Google and Apple and really big corporations. And she talks about communication. How do you have better communication with the people on your team? And communication is everything, right? Not just in your business, but in your life in general. So she shares with you, how do you approach conversations in a way that's not threatening or mean, but really effective, so that we're getting to the heart of the problem, the heart of the issue when we're talking to people, but we're doing it in a very thoughtful way so that we can get the best result and the best outcome for both parties. It's a really great read, and I also love that she infused a lot of stories as well from the work that she's done over the past. So I love that because she's not only just sharing the advice, but she's lived through some of these things and had these interesting conversations with people at her team and other really amazing leaders. So I definitely recommend that book. Number 8, Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. Need I say more? Brené Brown. I mean, her books are amazing. Any one of her books will help us become better leaders. I love how she lays this framework for how we need to be more authentic and real and communicative. She's just brilliant. So any of her books that you pick up really helps us to become more aware of how we're interacting with people, of how we're interacting with ourselves. And that alone is going to help us become better leaders. So Dare to Lead, or really any of Brené's books, should be on any leader's bookshelf. Number 9, The One Thing by Gary Keller. Okay, this book I definitely recommend often, especially to entrepreneurs who are just all over the place and trying to go after all the shiny objects at once. This helps us get focused and recognizing that we need to pick one thing and be focused on it. Give us all of our attention. So that is what gives. Number 9, The One Thing by Gary Keller. Okay, this book I definitely recommend often, especially to those entrepreneurs who are just going after all the shiny objects all at once. We need to be reminded that it's so important for us to pick the one thing. What's the one thing that we're going to focus at and be really good at and be so determined and so dedicated and so committed to that one thing so that that's the part of our business that thrives. That's the thing that we're able to grow and expand instead of trying to do so many things and getting nowhere. So I definitely recommend this book, especially if you're in a place of like trying to do way too many things. And number 10, all right, I'm gonna bookmark this list with Matthew Kelly books. So we started with The Culture Solution, we're gonna end with The Dream Manager. And I say that because honestly, this book, every leader needs to read because The Dream Manager is all about if we help people become the best version of themselves, they are gonna help the company become the best version of itself. That's what it's about. If we can dive into our team and ask them, what are your dreams? What are your dreams for your life? What do you want to do? And as leaders, if we can help fulfill those dreams for our people, they're going to show up at work differently. They're going to show up more dedicated, committed, passionate, excited, engaged. So that's what this book is about. It's a really easy read. It's a fable, it's a story, and it's made such an impact on so many people's lives, so many leaders' lives. And so I definitely recommend picking up a copy of The Dream Manager if you have not yet read it. I hope you found this list helpful. I would love to hear from you. Which of these have you read? Which of these is your favorite? Do you have other books that you really recommend for leaders? I would love to hear, so comment below. Let me know. We'll keep this list going because, hey, you know, like I said, we could definitely put more than 10 books for leaders on this list. But for the purpose of this video, we just stuck with 10 for now. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit that like button and also share it with someone who you think might find it valuable as well. I will see you next time.